Welcome. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, guys, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I asked what this conversation is going to be about, and I heard incoming wave of abundance. I mean, right off the bat, I claim that. Right off the bat, I claim all of that. Okay, so let's get started. Let me just get some of these cards ready. I feel like I got it in me to be extra freaking efficient for this conversation. And we're going to be going through quite a bit of information. I feel deep in my core that we have turned a corner. I don't really know what that means, but I feel like we've turned a corner and it's about to be a free flowing type of thing, where no matter what you decide, as long as you're aligned, and you allow, no matter what you decide, it's just going to keep increasing the amount of abundance, the amount of opportunity, the amount of goodness, right? For many of us, we've put so much effort, and we've been so patient. And, things haven't quite played out in the way that we were hoping, the way that we were expecting based on our efforts, based on our commitment. And it's made us feel some type of way, right? It's made us feel almost like, there's no point. Nothing ever really works out for me. No, babe, everything has been building up and building up and building up. This frustration that you're feeling, it's like the tension. No, I don't want to make that. I don't want to make I was going to make a really good analogy, but sometimes my kids watch my videos, so just let your imagination go with that. I don't want to say it. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm not gonna say, just let your imagination let your imagination take you wherever it's gonna take you regarding. Okay, moving on. All right. My kids are amazing. Just their sheer existence, their existence regulates me. I'm going to remain behaved this entire live stream. I'm just going to remain absolutely behaved. Okay. This is how I'm holding on. I'm holding on by a thread. Nothing wrong with that. It's still doing what it needs to do, right? You know what I'm saying? Okay, we're ready. Girl, you said you was going to be efficient. You said you were going to be efficient. Be efficient. Okay, here goes. Yes. Claim all of that. Okay. Yes. This confirms exactly what I was saying. So what was I saying? I don't know, but it was good. It was good. So here goes. We have been in an upside down cycle. We have been in a process that's caused us to feel depleted, caused us to feel some type of negative way. And your soul acknowledges the process that you've been in, the effort that you have put into everything that you're doing. Good job. Okay. First and foremost, good job. Even if no one in your environment has seen how much you have tried to do, how much effort, how much commitment, how much drive, how much trust, good job. There is someone that has recognized the effort. Now, this upside down cycle is going to be corrected simply because you are exerting boundaries, healthy boundaries. You're enforcing them. You are using your energy and your effort at this point. And if you haven't begun, you need to begin. You're going to use your energy and your effort to really make sure nothing crosses that line that you've set. So you've set that line. Very good job. You're enforcing it and you're coming to a place of awareness. This awakening is really, it's talking about your awareness of the process you're in, your awareness of what it is you're needing to do at this point, and how committed you are to what it is you're doing. I feel like I have to say it again. Good job. Seriously. Good job. You've not just only hung in there. You've remained very committed to whatever this is. Like you're I wouldn't say you're hyping yourself up. It's more of you are being realistic in what you're seeing, and you're not allowing yourself to enter into a space of just feeling like, oh my gosh, this is all leading to nothing and it's not worth it. No, instead, you're in this space of like, okay, things haven't been going the way that I've wanted or tried to make it go, but I don't know. I can feel like there's something that's waiting for me. This change, this opportunity, it's waiting for me. It's waiting for the chance to come home to me. And maybe you're not fully cognitive of that thought. Maybe it's not coming in exactly as those words, but it's this feeling that's being communicated. That feeling come from those words that I just said. So now you know what that tension, what that almost sense of frustration you've been feeling. It's that you're feeling something coming in. So all of those struggles are going to begin to decrease in their intensity, right? What did he do? I just saw a notification. Okay. So if you are allowing yourself to be positioned in a way that is very, very much in alignment with what needs to take place, you're going to begin to experience a massive, massive influx of opportunity. You have to be able to see it for what it is. Okay, for some of you who are highly empathic, you kind of have begun this cycle of convincing yourself the opportunities that you're presented with. People are just feeling sorry for you. It's a pity party. It's this, it's that, all these negative things. Like, stop. Stop. The period you've entered into has nothing to do with pity. It has everything to do with you finally allowing. You have to be the one to allow. You finally allowing what you have worked so hard to create. Maybe you don't realize that you've been working on this for quite some time. This is not a new thing. This is not a new thing at all. This is something that has been in the works for, at the very least, I want to say a year, if not 2 or 3 years. For some of you, it might even be 4 years. But this feels like somewhere around 2.5 years. That would be around the time this was initiated. So if you look back 2 to 2.5 years ago, is that when the frustration began? And it's just been slowly building and building and building, increasing in intensity. One thing after another that you try, it's like your way has been blocked. Your way has been blocked. Has it been blocked, or are you being redirected so that you remain on course? Because you have to be able to see what you've been through with clarity, right? So now you need to ask yourself, all those times where I tried to do something and it failed, was my way blocked? Was it sabotaged? Or was my soul making sure I remain on track, a track that I don't know where it's going to end up? And now you're about to see exactly where you're headed. This is a very exciting period. Now, of course, this is general conversation. So not everything I say is going to apply to everyone, but only you can decide. Only you know what parts of what I'm saying apply to you. Right? Don't be so quick to dismiss the things I'm saying as not for you and it's for everyone else. Don't be so quick to do that either. But this is an amazing, amazing period. For many of the people in our community, across all my social media platforms, you have been trying so hard. You have been showing up with me every single time I show up, and you've been receiving your messages. You've been thinking deeply. You've been putting a lot of effort. It's about to pay off. It's about to pay off. I know it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. But, what I like to say to soul oftentimes, I like to say this a lot. I'll believe it when you show me. And it's not this thing of, I don't believe it. It's this thing of, I'm open to seeing you, soul, you bring to fruition the very thing you're telling me is about to come to fruition. Like, let me see it. Let me see it, and then I'll put my whole effing shoulder into it. Right? I'll put my whole shoulder into it. I will push and push and push. I'm completely on board. I want you to show me. I want you to show me so I can understand, so that I can be better, more in compliance with what it is I need to do. Right? So, okay. I like to make analogies of my workout experience for the day. I like to make analogies as to how my experiences relate to the message soul is presenting. Because I feel like these conversations that we have, I usually have these conversations with you guys after I get home from working out. And the conversation really begins at the gym, right? So I've been off of creatine for a couple of weeks now, and the workouts have been grueling. It's been difficult, but I've been pushing through. I've been feeling a bit weaker without that creatine. And I've just like, okay, it is what it is. It is what it is. And then I calibrated a few things, right? I allowed for small shifts in where my focus is and how my focus is applied. And I've seen tremendous growth. I've seen like, okay, I think I'm starting to get it now, right? And so this morning, I asked my husband, because he usually makes my workout drink, I asked him to please add some creatine. Last night, I already began the preparation of what I'm going to do today. So last night, I loaded up on carbs before bed. I'm all like swollen from all the carbs last night. And I knew what my intention was for today. I wasn't sure how I was going to pull it off, but I knew what my intention was for today. So I asked him to put creatine because I'm going to use that fuel to its maximum capacity. That was my intention. Like, I'm going to go balls to the fucking wall. Yes. So we get to the gym and I'm taking it as far as my little balls will let me. Okay, I was trying. I've lifted more, but I've atrophied. So I had to take that into consideration. I began with my leg presses, and I was pressing just shy of 700 pounds, 600 something, just shy of 700. And it's like, okay, that's a good start. That's a good start. I could feel the creatine in my system. It's a very good start. And then I kept pushing. Some things I would have to do a little bit lighter than what I previously did at my max. Other things I was able to push a little bit more. My focus was on my form. That everything I did was done with quality, intention, and focus. Apply that to your spiritual journey, right? This awareness of what your intention is, allowing yourself to uptake the type of fuel that you need to really push that process when it's time. So that was a start. And then I began to feel my reserves, my glucose levels dropping. And when you're working your legs, that's a large amount of muscle groups that's factoring in, and you burn your fuel a lot faster. I forgot to bring my applesauce packets, and I was like, I fucked up. I lost focus and I fucked up. Damn it. And then I realized, okay, maybe my mental stamina, mental strength is a little bit more than where my physical is. So maybe that's my soul's way of protecting me from doing too much, overdoing it. Okay, I'll respect that. I will work to the capacity that I can work. And then I will respect when I've reached the end of what I can do. Apply that to your spiritual journey, right? Taking it as far as you can and knowing when you're sputtering and allowing yourself to kind of slow down, allowing yourself to catch your breath. And so I continued my workout. I wasn't tracking how much I was lifting, but by the end of it, I was just shy of 100,000. I haven't done that in a while. And when I went to look at the progress, yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. Okay, small progress, but it's a huge deal for me personally. It's a huge deal because not only was I able to push myself, I was able to push myself in a way that respects where I'm at right now. Yes, in the past, I've been able to push much harder, much, much harder. At my max, I think one workout, I was able to lift, I think like 140, 150,000 pounds in that one workout. But I'm not there. I've atrophied. I've been injured several times in the last couple months. And I've had to take a break. And I've been in weird mental spaces. And that affects your body. So being able to respect where I'm at, where I'm still just rebuilding what needs to be rebuilt, what I lost when I regressed for a short period, right? Respecting that, but also being able to push myself to the edge of my boundary. Apply that to your spiritual journey. Being able to push yourself to the edge without going so far over that edge that you enter into the potentiality of hurting yourself by doing too much, by not respecting where you're at within your journey. There are certain levels that we can handle at any given time. And sometimes you can handle more than what you can handle at other times. All of that is appropriate so long as you respect where you're at. This incoming wave of abundance requires you to be at a place where you can love yourself in such a way that you can push yourself without harming yourself, without shaming yourself for knowing that you've reached that boundary line. It's okay. It's okay. And it's okay because now I feel sorry for myself because I have to accept that I'm weaker. No, I'm smarter. I'm more mature. And I'm doing everything that needs to be done to ensure I don't create another setback. Yes, I could have actually lifted more. I could have. I absolutely could have lifted more, especially with a leg press. But I was like, all right, girl, this is your first exercise. Don't be effing yourself up at the first exercise. Take it as far as you can go while knowing you have so many other things you still need to do. Right? Again, apply that to your spiritual journey. Sometimes it's easy to forget how much we can actually do if we just give ourselves enough respect to understand how our process is. For some of us, this is about being open to massive potentialities, feeling that impending shutdown because now you're overwhelmed, now you're afraid, now you're questioning yourself. Okay, so pause. Pause. Pause for a moment, breathe, allow yourself to accept this wouldn't be happening if my soul didn't feel I was ready. That's a powerful statement. This wouldn't be happening if my soul didn't feel I was ready for it. It wouldn't. Whatever happens in your life, even if you're scared, even if you're unsure, it's happening because you're finally ready for that experience. Your soul is like, okay, you've been through what you needed to go through. You've learned what you've needed to learn. You've created so much fortification in the places where you needed to be fortified. And now you're ready for the next step. And then you're like, ooh, it's scary. And yes, it is scary. It is scary. But it's scary simply because you need to pay attention right now. Whatever it is you fear, that's the thing you need to focus on. That's the thing you need to pay attention to. So pay attention to it. Not because you're about to have something horrible happen. No, you just need to pay attention. Earlier today, I was going to do box squats. That's where you have a barbell. I was using a Smith machine. You have a barbell, and then you're obviously loaded weight, and then you're going to try and sit onto a bench before you pop back up. And I loaded. I loaded 195 pounds on that. And then I put myself under it, and I was like, ooh, something's off. Something's off. I racked it back. I tried to adjust the seat, which, I needed to move my bag. I didn't feel like doing it. So I was like, oh, the seat's fine. I sat back down on the seat and I put the guards up. Soul told me, girl, put those guards up. I was like, okay. So I put them both up. And what the guards do, if you need to drop that weight, it doesn't drop all the way down. It will hold it where it's at. So I go ahead and I load, I go ahead and I go under it again, right? I'm like, okay, tight, tight, girl, tight. Engaged motherfucking lads. You got it. You got it. I didn't have it. I did not have it. And rather than just stand back up and rack it, because I was one peg down from where it was racked. I was partially, I said, no. Just sit back down and then you'll be able to rack it and adjust yourself for a second. And then you could pop back up. This is not how it happened, yo. That's not how it happened. I got stuck because it was like half an inch from, I couldn't push it up half the inch. I couldn't drop down half an inch. And I was like, girl, you fucked yourself. So I'm stuck like this on the seat, like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And then I realized it was literally this far from the guard thingies that I put up. My soul said, put that up because right now you're not fucking listening. You're being told don't do this. So luckily I had enough mobility, range of motion to be able to lean forward and allow my arms to go back so that it rested ever so uncomfortably on the two stoppers that I put up. And then I sat there and I laughed. I was like, girl, you fucking knew you didn't have that shit as soon as you unracked it. What are you doing? I'm getting firsthand in real life experience as a reminder to stop fucking around. I needed to refuel. I was completely tapped out of fuel. The moment I felt that 195 pounds engage my upper shoulder blades, is like, you don't got this. I still pushed it. I'm very lucky I didn't injure myself. I'm very lucky I didn't injure myself. I'm very, very lucky. So after that experience, I took all the weights off. I was like, girl, you ain't got it. Just stop fucking around. You can't do that today. So I took the weights off and I did something else. And then I went back to it with much lighter weights, much, much, much lighter weights. So instead of 195 pounds, I did 95 pounds. And that was very much doable. And I wasn't upset. I just kept thinking to myself, I'm so glad I didn't get injured. I'm so fucking glad. I'm so glad I was able to do that because I needed to bail on that bar, but everything in me was like, don't be a quitter. It wasn't even about quitting. Like I literally was in danger of harming myself like that. I think this is a period where if you feel like you genuinely can't carry the load in a safe manner, you should reassess. All I needed to do was move that freaking bench back like an inch. That's literally all I had to do, but I was so exhausted. I didn't want to take the time to re-rack the 95 pounds. It would have taken me like, I don't know, 2 seconds to re-rack that safely. I didn't want to take the 2 seconds because I was exhausted and I didn't listen to what my soul was telling me, that I'm exhausted and I can't lift that load at that moment. When your soul tells you you have to slow down in your process, you have to listen to that. This incoming wave of abundance, if you flow in the way your soul is encouraging you to flow, the instructions you're being given by way of your feeling, your emotion, your intuitive knowing, I mean, really amazing things can happen. Really amazing things can happen. I put myself in a dangerous situation simply because I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it, knowing damn well I couldn't do that safely. And I was telling myself, you've lifted heavier than this. You've lifted heavier than this. Yeah, but I was properly positioned when I lifted heavier than that. I could box squat like 250 pounds. That was only 195. I should have been able to do it. In my head, I should have been able to do it. I wasn't properly positioned. If you're not properly positioned in what your soul is trying to prepare for you for the next part, take the time to shift. That's all I had to do was shift that seat. All I had to do was shift that seat. Yet I did not. When you're going through this process, if you don't take the time to shift that one little thing that you think is it's just a little detail, it's not a big deal. I promise you, that's going to be the biggest deal and you will regret all the lost potentiality just because you didn't take the time to adjust that little thing. It was 1 inch that bench needed to be pushed back because I got the wrong bench. I got one that was in a seated position, and that's the only position. It should have been a flat bench, at which point I would have had no problem. But I didn't want to lift the flat bench, the one that adjusts, because that was a lot heavier. And I was tired. I was tired. So, what's the lesson there? Respect where you're at in the moment and move according to where you're at and how you are in that moment. That's all you have to do. That's all I had to do. And if you can do that, tremendous progress will continue. By this summer, those who are in a space of being able to give yourself permission to shift, acknowledge where you're at, respect where you're at, knowing there's room for growth, there's room for expansion, being able to really be present and receive messages from soul. By summer, you'll begin to see some tremendous changes. These will be tangible things. They're not just going to be like, oh, um, you're starting to feel more secure. You're starting to feel more confident. No. Mm-mm. By summer, this wave of abundance, you're going to start seeing an increase in your earnings. You're going to maybe start another income stream. Maybe you'll see that your efforts have led to an offer of a promotion at your company. Or maybe by summer, you'll launch your own business. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Well, you know. You know what you're working towards. You absolutely know. You know exactly what it is you want, exactly what it is you've been kind of thinking of the last couple years, but haven't put effort into it in a way that you could see as effort. I think these past 2.5 years for most of us, some a little bit less than 2.5 years, some a little bit more, up to maybe 4 years. I think that you've been really setting the stage for what's to come very, very soon. Very, very soon. So it's March. Summer starts sometime in June. It's about 3 months. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep going, keep going, keep going, right? Keep going. There will be attempts to distract. I see one right now. How you feel? I'm in the middle of a fucking live stream and you're going to comment, I sent you a message. You want me to stop the live stream to read your message? I'm never in the messages. Use some fucking common sense. That type of stuff irritates me. When people see I'm in the middle of something and they make a statement where it carries with it the implication that I'm obligated to halt my progression to accommodate. Like, no. Oh, no, I absolutely won't. I absolutely won't be opening that message. You don't know who I am and how I am. Hi, Rochelle. You have to push hard and you have to make sure that you enforce the boundaries that absolutely serve as a way to distract, derail, disrespect. Yes. Yes. It's very important. Very, very, very important. You have to remain focused on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Even if you don't fully believe yet that you can do it, I think your life and these upcoming events and opportunities, it's going to show you you've been doing it this whole time. You've been doing it this whole time. So let's see. Balance spirituality and practicality. This is hard to do. It's a beautiful goal, but it's hard to do. If you think of it, like most people, when they hear something like that, it will be like, okay, 50% spirituality, 50% practicality, and that's balance. Ugh. How do you know you've reached 50%? So maybe the message there is being careful about calibrating your expectations and making sure your expectations are aligned with the reality of the process you're in, right? The reality is sometimes in order to be properly balanced, you'll be much more spiritual than you are practical. And other times you'll need to be much more practical than you are spiritual. It really depends on the circumstance at hand. Which one requires you to be more spiritual? Which one requires you to be more practical? I think if you're fully present in whatever circumstance you're facing, you'll be able to feel, do I use more logic? Logic is more rooted in practicality. Spirituality is about using more of your intuition, that intuitive urge, that kind of just not knowing why, right? Not knowing quite why, but just feeling so deeply, I need to. Like, I need to. Soul is telling me I have to do this and I have to do that. I don't know why, but I trust my soul and I trust my ability to accurately receive the messages from my soul. So I'm going to listen to that. It will make sense after I'm done following the instructions of soul. So let's see. Time to breathe out. Oh, okay, but it's in reverse, right? So what's this telling me? Continuing with gym-based analogies. If you're in the middle of lifting a very heavy load, a considerable amount of weight, you have to know when to breathe. You do. You have to know when to breathe. For example, if you're doing squats, right? And you're lifting a load that's challenging to you. You're needing to brace your core, and that requires you to hold your breath. Once you get to the top of the movement, that's when you exhale. Inhale again, brace all the way down, right? If you can time your release, because that's what an exhale is, it's a release. If you can time the release for when it's appropriate, you can lift heavier loads. You can create much more opportunity. Now, it's not about holding your breath indefinitely. It's about finding the rhythm and allowing that rhythm of your process to show you exactly how to maximize the timing of things. These are very profound messages. These are very, very, very profound messages. I think the depth of messages and instruction coming through, I think for some of you, like you're really at the cusp of a life altering opportunity. Pay attention, not to me. I mean, of course, please pay attention to me. Like pay attention to what I'm sharing. But what what I'm feeling deeply is you have to pay attention to what your soul is communicating. And it's hard to do that if you're being overrun by your fear, overwhelmed by your fear and your distrust in yourself and your soul. So you need to make sure that you really maximize this opportunity, because I think soul really, really, really wants you to succeed at this point. I think soul wants you to not just have like a little bit of cake. I think your soul wants you to have the whole thing. Mm. There's some really good opportunities being presented here. I can feel the building, like it's an increasing, increasing, increasing. Oh, a new start is coming. Mm. I think that's confirmation. A new start is coming. For some of you, because obviously this is a generalized conversation, right? For some of you, this is like really set in stone. Like your soul has the entirety of its heart and focus on really making this happen for you. The waters are calm. It's the perfect time to set sail. See, look, upright, it's like, ooh, better have the right ship. This is going to sink. It's going to be scary. But it's in reverse. So then I'm like, what does it mean? Showing me that, but it's in reverse. And I hear from soul, the waters are calm. It's the perfect time to set sail. You're about to approach new lands, new spaces of existence within yourself. Woo! I'm really loving this reading. I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for myself as well. I'm claiming this. I'm absolutely claiming this. I don't know what I'm claiming, but the feeling of it tells me I don't want to miss out on it. And it's not from fear of missing out. Mm-mm. It's from my awareness that I've allowed so many different things to be passed up, so many offers and potentialities to be passed up. For what? For what? I don't even know. I don't know. So now I'm not willing to allow this to pass me up. I want to be part of it. Wherever my life is going, wherever that potential is, please take me with you. Is it because I'm unhappy? Is it because I'm dissatisfied? Absolutely not. Like, my life is very peaceful. I love my life. I love my life. But I know there's something more that's being offered, not just to me, but to me, my family, my community. And it requires me to have the courage to be like, I'm coming. I'm ready to go. Just let me know when to get on the ship. Let me know. Just let me know. I don't know where it's headed, but I trust my soul. I trust my soul. I trust that I'm in a space within myself that I'm actually ready, even if I don't know if I am. I'm ready. Ooh, okay. Soul's having a conversation with me. It's saying all this time that you've been focused on your health and working out and all these other things, yet it's only now that you're getting the results that you've never been able to get. No matter how hard you try, no matter how focused you were, no matter how much effort, you weren't able to get the results then that you're getting now. Why is that? I wasn't ready then. I didn't understand then. I'm starting to understand now. And I just need to accept I'm not the same person that wasn't ready. I don't know what I'm being prepared for. I just know I'm ready. And my life and the experiences, whether it's hardship, adversity, or what have you, it's designed to show me just how ready I am at this point for this part of my journey. So let's go. Don't let your past hold you back. See what I'm saying? It's in reverse though. So this is telling me for some of you, you're still letting the fears from the past, maybe past failures, past disappointment, past betrayal, be the very thing that's preventing you from moving forward, from opening the door, from taking the first step. With this in reverse, this is about allowing yourself to remember what happened in the past and not be frozen in fear by it. Woo! Ooh, Lord, Lord, Rochelle, I got to share something with you. Remember way back when, way back when, and you've been such a beautiful calming force, just very empowering and very supportive. Remember all those years ago when it began, the cyberbullying of me began, and I didn't do anything about it. And you had the wisest advice, and it stuck with me all these years that I have to put a stop to it. And I didn't understand what you meant then, or what soul meant when it encouraged you to share those words with me. I didn't understand. But let me tell you, a couple months ago, the same people who began the first cycle were involved with a much bigger cycle that was trying to be initiated, a cycle of trying to break me through cyberbullying. And I put a stop to it. It finally made sense. I know you'd never tell me what to do. And I know the words you shared with me all those years ago was an encouragement for me to think about how I should resolve that issue as it was beginning to develop. And I had to go through several cycles of that to understand exactly what it is I needed to do. And I did it with no hesitation this time. And before that cycle could even get full traction, it was halted. And that's how I know I'm ready for the next part. Because I'm such a different person now. The parts of me that allowed for ugliness to be done to me with zero provocation, it's no longer part of my primary character. It's been benched. It's been put on the sidelines because no, I will not allow any of that anymore. Not only did I not initiate anything, I didn't deserve it, I don't deserve it, and I will not tolerate anymore. And I think for all of you, you'll begin to notice, you know what? You're really actually not the same person you were the last time this type of thing happened. And if you're really not the same person that you were, you won't have the same reaction or lack of appropriate action and response. So many of us are afraid of change. Change is for your benefit. It's for your benefit. So whenever I see life presenting me the opportunity to change and be shifted, rather than have nothing but fear and fighting that change, I say to life and to soul, change me in all the ways I need to be changed so that I could be better aligned and better prepared for the next part of my journey. May I never be the same person that I was when I allowed the things that I didn't deserve. I'm no longer afraid of change. I'm no longer afraid of the appropriate corrective action. I'm now just flowing with life and allowing life to show me what comes next. A time for healing. It's in reverse. I think for many, you haven't been allowing yourself to heal. And because you haven't been allowing yourself to heal, you're going to have to do this while feeling like you haven't yet healed. It's okay. There are some things that you can still do while you're in the process of healing, right? So you just got to do what needs to be done. You just have to do what needs to be done. Meditate and contemplate, but it's in reverse. So what's this tell me? Meditating is emptying your thoughts. It's allowing yourself to become neutral in your vibratory rate and your frequency. If you can get that place of neutrality as your primary space of existence within yourself, then you can empower yourself to consciously decide what charge you are going to load into your manifestation template. I should probably have a workshop on how to efficiently and powerfully manifest events in your life. I think that would be something very beneficial for many of you because we all have manifestation capabilities to varying degrees of intensity, of course. But we all have that capability, and most people are not able to manifest simply because you don't know the mechanics that are involved. You just have to be aware of the mechanics, and then you'll be able to do it very easily. Very, very easily. So let's see what else your soul wants to tell you. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I like this. I like all of this. Speed, movement. It's in reverse. So what's this telling me? You don't have to rush through any of this. You're just being made aware of the process you're already in and have been in. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to rush anything. You've already been in this process. You're just being encouraged to continue in it while being consciously aware that you're in a process. For many of us, we've been continuing and we haven't been aware that we've been in a process. And that's been creating a lot of very distorted views on what you're going through. You're just being given clarity. When you're aware you're in a process, I mean, at least for me, if I'm made aware by soul, this is simply a part of your process, I tend to not take things so personally. If I get disappointed, it's like, I wish it had gone a different way, but I get it. It's just a part of a process. So, whatever it is that's disappointed me, it's something that's going to lead towards an end result that I want. So, I just got to keep going. And I can process my disappointment as I go, or I could pause on the processing and just focus on the continuation of the process. And once I'm done, then I can revisit it and see why I was disappointed and process that when I have the time, right? So, outer core, but it's in reverse. So, what's deep inside you, the person you truly are, your purpose, your destined path, the gift that you are for others and you are for yourself, that's rising to the surface. For many of you, for me as well before, not so much anymore. But for many of you, it's like you've been shamed into this space of feeling like you can't be who you are. Because if you recognize the greatness that lives inside you, you were born with greatness. You were made of greatness. And to your personal greatness, you are returning. And to acknowledge that, it's offensive for some people in your life. To begin moving as though you're aware that this greatness lives in you and that's your natural state, it's offensive to the insecure people in your life. Let them be offended. Are you intending to offend them? No? Okay. Well, then let them be offended. That's something they need to process because honestly, they're not offended by you. They're offended by what witnessing you is having them see and acknowledge about themselves. Let them be offended. I mean, you're not trying to offend anyone, you're not trying to create problems. You're just kind of existing. So keep existing. Keep existing, right? Completion. It's in reverse. You still have a puzzle piece. It's starting to be loaded into your awareness. See the number of 4 self. So this is about you, the brain, the puzzle piece. That light is the awareness. This missing piece, this missing component that's going to help you to make sense of the last several years, it's being given back to you. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Things are going to start making sense very, very rapidly for those who are willing to, oh Lord, for those who are willing to be fully present in this process. Ooh, y'all. It's okay. It's going to be okay. Rain. Y'all. Oof. 3 and 5. So the number 35. 3 is a solid foundation from which to initiate the change. A storm is coming to cleanse the landscape of the human consciousness. You don't have to be left out in the rain. For many of you who are part of my community across all social media, you guys are what's considered volunteer souls. That means you're part of a team of souls. It's a rather large team who are tasked to start the groundwork. You exist in this plane of existence to simply increase the frequency oscillatory rate. Once the oscillatory rate is increased, we are released from that phase lock. So what does that mean? You are not designed or intended to be left out in the rain. Stop disregarding yourself and your needs. You are divine machinery that must be brought indoors to ensure that all of your working parts are protected from the elements. There is a storm brewing within the world. We're starting to reach a point where that storm cannot be stopped. It's an artificially created storm. It's intended to confuse, to create chaos. We are not to participate in that. We are not here as saviors. We are here with specific tasks that we have promised to do. What's that task? Well, I don't know. What did you volunteer to do? You're not supposed to be left out in the storm. Okay. So think of it in this way, because, some people are more like they have to be given some type of verbal cue for a visual to best understand something. You're a candle. It is dusk, so it's starting to get dark. Is a candle the most powerful during the daytime? I mean, you can see it burn regardless, but is that the best use of the candle? Probably not. I mean, it's daytime. You can already see everything in the room. So as things get darker, the darker it is, the more powerful that candle's existence becomes. You're that candle. The world has been plunged into a dark space. It's your job to shine bright. Will the candle save someone? I mean, it's not a hero. It's not a savior. But the sheer presence of a candle during, say, a brownout or a prolonged blackout where there's snow and very cold weather. I mean, with just one candle, you can heat your food. If you have terracotta pots, you can begin heating the room. I mean, it could lend itself to help facilitate someone saving their own life. But does a candle save you all on its own? No. It's what people choose to do in the presence of the candle as they're inspired by that candle, right? And then you take it one step further, relating it back to that card about rain. Is that candle is the divine potential of that candle going to be maximized and responsibly harnessed by leaving it out in the rain? No. the rain will mess up that candle. You are that candle. You must be brought indoors. Don't leave yourself out from the group that you love upon and protect. It's time to integrate yourself into your human existence. It's very much time. It's time to integrate all of the things that you've learned. It's time to allow yourself to be part of the group that you are focused on providing for, protecting, loving, encouraging, empowering, all of those things. It's time. It's time to see yourself equal to those you hold the most dear. For a lot of empaths, you have a tendency to completely martyr yourself. You have a tendency to completely disregard your needs and attend strictly to the needs of the people you love. That kind of existence is no longer it's not going to be something that's worth it, because it's not creating any good stuff. It's just continuing to put you in a space of depletion. Okay. Companionship. You have to allow yourself to be surrounded by all the types and forms of creation that are sent to you to remind you how loved you actually are. Whether it be the animals, whether it be your friends, whether it be family. When love is being presented to you, allow yourself to receive. Love never comes with strings attached. It never comes with obligation or a debt to be paid in the future. It just is. Like if I love someone, I will help you and I have no expectations. I don't even expect you to say thank you. And I'm grateful if you show gratitude, because then it's like, okay, so I didn't overstep. I'm glad I didn't overstep. I didn't offend you. Okay, perfect. right? Anytime I help someone out of love, I don't expect anything. I still have people who come to me years later, like, I mean, I'm so grateful for you because years ago you did this, this, and this for me. And I'm like, I did? That's lovely. I don't remember. I mean, that's lovely that it affected you in such a positive way. You don't have to like feel indebted. I mean, whatever I did, it was appropriate. You allowed yourself to receive, and that's that. That's that, right? So love, if you're going to allow yourself to receive love, you have to know what love is first. You have to know that love does not come with strings. It doesn't come with a sense of obligation for a future debt to be paid. None of that. So if you sense those things, what you're being offered is not love. What you're being offered is a prepayment for an undisclosed service that you will be providing a person who does not have the integrity to be transparent and honest with you about their expectations of what this prepayment is for. I don't tolerate that in my life anymore. I used to be like, I will not accept any help from anyone because I've experienced enough of that. And then it was this thing of, if I somehow accept the help, now I'm obligated to you, and now you own me somehow, and I owe you forever. And even if I have repaid what you've done for me uh, 10 times over, it's still not enough. I'm not going to exist that way anymore. I refuse. I refuse. It was just a couple years ago where someone tried to initiate that with me again. And you know what I said to them? I'm so sorry. Had you been honest with me with what your donation actually was, like what your expectation from that donation was, I wouldn't have accepted it, because then that's not a donation. That was a prepayment for a service that I was not okay with had I known. So next time, if you do offer something, I will politely decline. But thank you for the donation this time, and thank you for the opportunity, for serving as a way for my soul to remind me and test how much I've accepted that I will no longer participate in those types of interactions. Yes. It took a lot of courage for me to say that. But I said it. And I didn't cry after, because if I see it and if I get all emotional, I cry. I didn't cry because it was just like very matter of fact, because I'd finally learned. I finally learned. I don't have to feel badly because someone had a malignant intention to begin with, a covert malignant intention. But there does need to be a conversation, and that conversation was had. And I let them know, had I known that it in fact was not a donation, I would have politely declined. And unfortunately, I can't give it back because that donation wasn't for me. That donation was for my sibling who was actively dying. So it wasn't for me to give that back. That was already given to him, right? It's a very powerful lesson for me to learn. And once Anaya, I did embody the lesson. Once I truly embodied it, it hasn't happened again. I have this theory that the things that you're the most secretly apologetic for regarding your existence and your character, those are the things that fuel the repeating of specific types of experiences and interactions that are uncomfortable and sometimes painful to go through. Once I learn and embody what I've learned, those type of circumstances that are difficult, they typically don't return. They don't repeat. Why? Well, because as I see it, The cycle beginning again. No, absolutely not. And it gets halted. Remember that, okay? That little thing that I just shared with you, as your soul prepares to bring to you massive waves of abundance, you're going to need to remember that. Because right before the major wave arrives, there will be smaller waves to test how fortified you are. And you have to be fortified in such a way that you can allow the abundance in, but not the debris that sometimes rides the waves. There is dark matter approaching. 38. 3 is a solid foundation from which to converge all your parts. Allow the fullness of your divinity to transmute and transfigure everything about you, allowing that transmutation to come from your core and rise to the surface. You are approaching the event horizon. If you understand how to navigate this, that black hole you're entering into becomes calibrated into something else, a wormhole that can be used to transport you to a completely different existence that you never thought you would have. Or you can be afraid of the black hole, and then the black hole will have its way with you, and it will tear you apart piece by piece. Once you're in the event horizon, that event is locked in. How you experience that guaranteed event, that you have an absolute say over. Convergence is about to occur. And your soul is allowing you to be aware of what this could potentially mean and how you could potentially experience it. Have no fear of the potential. If the potential is a negative one and you're being made aware in advance, that means your soul is preparing you. So it's not going to be as bad as you're afraid it will be. Or your soul is letting you know so that you can take the appropriate steps to completely avoid it. Meaning, yeah, you're not going to experience that at all. And really, what happens next is highly contingent on what you choose as a sovereign to allow or not allow. Heaven sent. Okay, so some of you are being warned about this. Okay. A testing period will occur for many of you. This testing period will involve something or someone that will seem heaven sent, but something about them, something about the circumstance, the connection, whatever it is, does not sit right with you. It does not feel right. And now you're left wondering, is this because is this a trauma response? Am I just trying to avoid something? Am I sabotaging myself? You have to sit with this. You have to really allow yourself to sit with this and come to a conclusion as to what this actually is, right? For some, this is a person. For some, this is a person that sees you're a phoenix rising, and they want in on that. They want a piece of that. They want a destiny swap. They want to drain your energy. They want to take from you what is rightfully your potential. Don't allow that. Ooh. Soul says, because I'm of the mindset, there's room for everyone. There is room for everyone at the top of that mountain. But everyone must use their own fuel and effort to climb to the top to enjoy the view beside you. This is not about you stopping people from reaching the top of the mountain to stand and share space with you as you enjoy the view of a life beautifully changed by soul. This is about not allowing someone to jump on your back and have you carry them up the mountain, further compounding your struggle, depleting your fuel, and endangering you. Know the difference. This was a very hard lesson for me to learn. Know the difference. Okay? Not everyone is trying to jump on your back. Some people, they have the same destination and they're simply walking beside you. Nothing wrong with that. When you get the sense, and it continues to increase in intensity, when you get the sense that someone is simply trying to ride on you, no, no. So with that, the word wants to be written, but it's in reverse. This is telling me, whoever this is, whatever this is trying to use you and your energy to bring it to full fruition. It's absolutely trying to hijack your energy. This could be a person, this could be a thing. I don't quite know. But you need to be aware of this. This is something that's going to try and affect you in such a way that you're no longer following your own rhythm. You're instead trying to pace yourself to their pace, their rate. No. Someone that wants you to hurry up, why? Someone that wants you to slow down, why? Why? So for some of you, you've been with me long enough to kind of witness some of the rare interactions between my husband and I while I'm live streaming. I never bring him on the live stream. He doesn't want to. But for those who have witnessed those, rare interactions that we have, there is no doubt, no doubt how much love we have for each other, how much support and unconditional love we have for each other. He won't work out with me. He just won't. He won't be my workout partner. Why? And part of me sometimes, most times at this point, I don't want to work out with anyone. Why? Because I am flowing with my own rate, at my own rate. I don't want to be slowed down. I don't want to be rushed. I just want to focus, really be focused on what I'm doing. Now, there's times where I do work out with other people, but that's something where, yes, I'll agree to that. I have a knowing as I agree to that. I'm not going to be controlling that whole thing. There has to be a compromise, right? So that means if I have to slow down, if I have to lessen my intensity, then that's what it means. And that's not an inconvenience, right? So yeah, he doesn't want to work out with me. Because there's love there. He doesn't want to slow down my workout. He also doesn't want to wait for me if I'm wanting to do more sets. And I respect that. I respect that. I don't feel abandoned in any way, shape, or form. I just don't. He has his own things that he does. He has his own things that he's focused on improving. And I have my own. It's a beautiful, powerful connection that I have with my husband. And it's as it should be, right? Sometimes when we convince ourselves that we absolutely need to have a specific someone doing the same thing that we are doing, that's not coming from love. That's coming from fear. That's coming from codependency. Like my husband and I were always together, pretty much all day, every day we're together. We enjoy each other's company. But we're not codependent. We are interdependent. I can do things on my own. He can do things on his own. We like to do things together because we enjoy each other's company. Recognize that some of that old trauma old patterns that have been very, very heavy for you to carry. They're going to rise up. And as they rise up, it's to bring your attention to the fact that it needs to be healed now. Not because you're broken, not because you're flawed, not because you're not good enough until you're completely healed, but because you finally deserve to know what it feels like on the other side of that fear. All of us will have wounds that exist and fester and heal and reinfect and all of these things through the course of our life. Did you think the goal was to be completely healed? You will be completely healed when this life is done. Just like you will be done learning when you take your last breath. The goal is not an easy life. The goal is a life lived in such a rich way that every breath you take, every experience you have, adds to the richness of your existence. And in that rich existence, you then, just by existing, become a gift to everyone who witnesses you, everyone who crosses your path. Woo! Woo! That's how I know I'm truly living the full potential of my existence. That just by sharing my random thoughts, this is what this entire conversation is, random thoughts that are triggered by images on cardstock. There is a richness that overflows from remembering the things I've lived through and simply sharing it with you. Not to advise you, not to guide you, not to tell you how to think and how to exist, but just to share, like, hey, funny thing happened. This is what I learned from it. I didn't know, might help you at some point. Help you to make sense of some of the things you're going through, some of the things you've been through. Maybe even something as simple as help you to hold on just through the night. Oof. Mm. Mm. Oh. Oof. Well, I felt that one. I don't know who I felt, but I felt that one. It's my hope that if you are struggling to hold on even just through the night, that in sharing space with me, even through a recorded video, not only are you empowered to hold on through the night and the next day, you're also empowered to the point that you feel me holding you. Mm. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is not try and save someone from their circumstance. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is just be present with both your hands to hold them as they fall apart. So none of the pieces their soul needs to rebuild them in a fortified way gets lost. You just hold them. Don't stop the process. Just make sure no piece of them gets left behind. Mm. Mm. I think that's a part of me that will never change. The part of me that just cannot stand knowing that people exist in such a painful space. I love you too, Nina. I can't stand that. Even if it's a stranger, I can't stand that. Mm. Mm. Oof. As I said, I can't stand that. And I was about to say, I wish there was something I could do, something more that can be done before I could say it out loud. Michael said, "Don't you start. You're already doing everything you could possibly do." Am I? I don't know. What I'll trust is that if there's more I can do, my soul will impress it upon my heart and I will do it without realizing it's what I could do more. I'll just have to trust that. I'll just have to trust that. So, the next part, new birth guarded vigilantly. As we expand our awareness, as we grow, you must protect the parts of you that are newly emerging from your core. When you go through an ascension process, you enter into a temporary space of vulnerability. Yes, your power is expanded, it's amplified, your awareness as well, but you're in a space of vulnerability because it's such a new space. It's unfamiliar territory for you temporarily. You will acclimate and you will be able to harness all the new things that are given to you as a byproduct of reaching a new part of you. But if you feel yourself kind of withdrawing temporarily, if you notice that you're kind of shutting down a little bit and isolating a little bit, kind of respect that. As long as it's within reason, um, then you're still able to function. Respect that process that you're in, because I feel strongly that's you guarding your new growth vigilantly. It's like when they put up the signs and, create a little fence around the new growth. I love to go to national forests, like federal reserves and or federal parks and state parks and things like that. And oftentimes there will be areas that we used to be able to walk through, but suddenly they're fenced off. And as you get closer, you'll see the sign, no through traffic, no pedestrian traffic, protecting new growth. And, it's like, okay, that's why we can't go through there. We have to protect the new, give it an opportunity to really take root and mature a little bit. The same thing with you. Same thing with you. What is already with you, but it's in reverse, right? It's in reverse. So, what does that mean? That means that for some of you, you're experiencing such an intensity of discomfort because you're about to recognize something within you. And it's a very uncomfortable thing because you're afraid of what it is your soul is going to bring right to the forefront of your awareness. Ooh. Oh, I don't know if you've already left. Someone wrote on TikTok, "It makes me so uncomfortable talking about it now that I'm going to bail." I don't know when you wrote that. I don't know if you bailed, but yeah, if you constantly bail on yourself, um, you know, it's just one of those things where will you actually be able to eventually meet the reality of who you are? I found the people who are the most afraid to see the reality of who they are the people who have the most beautiful things inside of them. And y'all already know this about me. I'm blunt and I'm blunt. I've found, and I'm about to be blunt right now, I've found the people who are the ugliest to the core, they're not afraid of meeting themselves. Why? Because they've convinced themselves that everyone else is the issue. So they have no problem with continuing in their delusion. They're not afraid to meet themselves because they're never going to look at the issue. They're instead going to continue to assert how amazing they are. So, what am I trying to get at? I'm trying to say that most of you are afraid to meet yourselves. Why? Because then you'll see how beautiful you actually are. And once you become aware of the reality of your truth and the beauty contained within it, that triggers some intense cognitive dissonance. Why? Well, because pretty much everyone in your life has tried to convince you that you're worthless. And when you see the reality of how priceless you actually are, it kind of makes you feel like, how come everyone treated me that way? It's a hard pill to swallow. I had to go through that process as well. I was afraid to meet myself and the reality of the beauty that lives inside me already. I'm not talking about aesthetics. I'm talking about the beauty of the person that God created me to be. I was afraid to meet her. Why? Because then I would finally understand and not be able to deny that I never deserved the things that people have done to me my entire life. And that wasn't the most painful part. The most painful part was the way I didn't defend my own inner child. I allowed people to do whatever they wanted. I allowed them to be hurtful and harmful. I allowed them to break her down. And that is what hurt the most. That moment of awareness of how I never showed up for myself. But you have to be able to feel the full range of motion and emotion in order to develop the maturity that's necessary to get to the next part of your journey. I know I'm not alone in that experience. And I know down to my core that most of you in our community, this is the experience you've begun. This process of getting to actually see yourself, know yourself, and then having to process the pain of realizing how you didn't deserve any of that. And the even deeper pain of recognizing all you had to do was say no. All you had to do was not allow. And at no point did you understand your worth. So you allowed. You gave access. And then they did whatever they did and then you hurt more. It is what it is. It helped you to learn. It's going to help you to learn even more. So meet yourself. Once you meet yourself, you'll begin to understand the how and the why you're worthy of the type of abundance that's coming in. I know there's an abundance that's coming in for me that is, I've been being told for many, many years by soul, and it's just hard to wrap my brain around it. And as I've increased in my level of maturity and acceptance of self, I realize and now am beginning to fully believe, absolutely, I should allow that abundance in. Why? Because I'm not interested in keeping it. I've never really been run by that type of desire. So I allow that financial abundance in. It'll give me the opportunity to do so much more for so many other people. And if I wasn't me, if I was a stranger to myself and I was witnessing myself, my character, my existence, the history of me from a different set of eyes, a different existence, as a different person, I would be like, there's no better person than to give all of that financial abundance to. I know exactly what she'd do with that. She would help people, genuinely help people. Healthcare, shelter, food, education, like everything across the board. There would be no limits as to what she would do. But because I am existing within myself, yes, there's still that part of me that's like, are you sure? Are you sure? I mean, I don't know. I'm just me. I don't know I don't know. But if you say so, soul, I mean, if you say so, I'll trust you. It's okay to still have that doubt and that fear and have the questions. It's okay. That's a part of you having a human experience. You can have all those things and keep all those things, but you still need to keep doing what soul tells you. Receive your guidance. Allow that tidal wave of abundance in. It's going to be wave after wave after wave of abundance. Once it starts, it cannot stop. Nothing can stop it. Excuse me, not even you. Let that sink in. Not even you. There's something deep within your core that is shifting. And once it shifts, it's going to start a process that cannot be halted, cannot be slowed down. Just no, it's going to go all the way through. It's like the equivalent of some deep sea earthquake. That earthquake is evidence of tectonic shifting. What happens when there's a massive tectonic shift in the ocean? A tsunami. A tsunami. You see the ways in which you're pulling back from the world, from people, from your friends, from your family. You're pulling back, right? What happens before the tsunami arrives? The ocean recedes. It pulls back from the shore. The more it pulls back, the larger the wave will be when it arrives. And there are waves that arrive before the main tsunami. You cannot stop a tsunami. As advanced as human technology has become, I have never once seen them successfully stop a tsunami. All you can do is prepare. All you can do is evacuate, get out of its way. And these people who are trying so hard to put you in a space to convince you you're not enough, you can't do it. Who do you think you are? Yo mama is what I'm sorry. These people who are like, who do you think you are? You think you're better than everyone? They're trying to put you in a space of self-preservation. Your soul says no. You have to get out of that survivor mentality. See, okay, so there's levels, right? There's a victim mentality. And once you outgrow that, you enter into survivor mentality. And then when you outgrow that, you go into a thriver mentality. And when you enter into that space of thriving, you're no longer just trying to preserve. You instead have lost the fear that has crippled you and entered into a space of active, conscious manifestation. You are creating the opportunities, you are amplifying it, you are fueling it, you are choosing which way it goes. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You are choosing all of it. That's powerful. That's very, very powerful. That's the process you're in. Ready but waiting, it's in reverse. So what's this telling me? This is telling me that your soul is priming your field and you are about to ride the waves. You're about to ride the waves. It's like the equivalent of you being a regular person who likes to watch the ocean from behind a screen because you're scared of the water, to then becoming a badass surfer that when you see those huge waves, you're like, I'm coming, baby. And you are paddling out into the ocean with your little board. Actually, those boards are pretty big. You're paddling out into that ocean so you could ride the wave. No fear, nothing but adrenaline. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, I promise you, even if you're scared of sharks, sharks are scared of tsunamis. Sharks are the last thing you need to worry about. The last thing. So now that you have clarity, you're beginning to understand what the potential is. Now that you have clarity and you're gaining understanding of the potential, it's time for you to bring that potential to the surface. You know what this potential is? It's a promise made to you by your soul, held deeply within the core. Just waiting for the opportunity for you to give permission for it to rise. Give permission. It's time. It is time. I'm done. I'm out of cards. I'm out of cards. I hope that everything that's headed your way, I hope you allow it. I hope you allow it. I hope you lose your fear of the impending changes, impending, beautiful, powerful changes. Because really, there's no reason you need to continue with that survivor mode that you've been in. You've already survived everything. I mean, look at your age. Okay. So I'm 46. I have survived everything thus far for the last 46 years. 46 years is a long time to prove a point. So now I need to reach a point where I just accept no matter what happens, I will survive that. I'll survive it. That's my pattern. Things happen and I survive it. Okay. Point proven. Facts accepted. Now I need to allow myself to enter into a space of thriving. Same thing for you guys. A space of thriving. If you don't have the tools or the awareness as of yet, well, do what needs to be done so you can gain that awareness and utilize some of the tools. So here's the thing. I do have the morphogenetic fundamentals workshop that should be coming up soon. I don't know when. I should probably check. This is where I teach the energetic work that you guys see me do when I do energetic work on live streams. I wasn't taught how to work energy. I just came into this life with previous existence memories intact. And I harness the applied biospiritual theories of aura spectra bioregenesis. My system is called Kokoro 33. Kokoro is a very old Japanese word for the center point where the mind, the soul, the body, and the heart come together in unison. 33 is the master number. It's about ascended mastery of that center point. That's what I teach in this workshop. It's also a prerequisite for my certification program. In addition to that, I have here. If you really want to change your health, if you really want to gain the guidance that's necessary for you to get the courage to launch your own business and have something soul-based, check out the Quantum Potential event. This is a 2-day in-person event. We're going to be meeting at a private venue. It's an estate out in the wilderness. And it was selected because at the time of this event, a fragment of Lemuria will be beneath the property. We're going to be doing whole being wellness. We're going to be doing soul-based business. It's going to be a phenomenal event. Phenomenal. There's only a few spaces left. Again, it's an in-person event. The actual date and location of the event is not publicly disclosed because, crazy people have been doing crazy things. So it's a very private event. Once you purchase your ticket, all of that information is in fact given to you. I got to get going, guys. I hope that today's conversation is something that will create so much courage to allow yourself to shift. Allow the abundance in. I don't know any other person who's more worthy of receiving from soul this type of abundance. Allow yourself to receive what has rightfully been set aside for you. And then do amazing things with it. Not just for you, but for everyone your heart tells you should also benefit from it. That's a beautiful thing. You're not being asked to give everything away. You're not being asked to pay to prove the goodness of you. You're simply being encouraged to allow yourself to receive and trust that when it's right for you to help, when it's right for you to share, that you will, because that's who you are. So don't be scared of the abundance in whatever form it takes, whether it's simply friendship, whether it's support and encouragement, whether it's a new job, whether it's some financial windfall. Accept all of it. You're worthy of whatever your soul gives you. It will never give you something that is not meant for you, that is not appropriate for you, something you can't handle. Trust the way your soul loves you. And then get out of your own way. I gotta go. So guys, I hope again that you enjoyed this conversation, that it empowers you to further your self-healing journey. And I look forward to seeing you guys again. Please make sure you follow, like, share, comment, all that wonderful stuff. If you are new to me, following me across all social media, it's not declaration of you being my follower. It is a declaration that you are identifying yourself as part of a powerful community of equals. You will never be my follower. You can, however, choose to be part of my community and walk beside me, shoulder to shoulder, as my equal. The time for following people is done. The time for walking forward, knowing you're going the direction your soul wants you to go, is here. And what better way to travel than surrounded by like-minded, like-hearted people? It's a beautiful experience when you do. I love you guys. I will